I take your order, please?
Carl, what do you want? You gotta eat to keep your strength up, man.
I'll take 2 Sea Vipers, a Sea Viper Large, a Casket Bolt with extra pack, a Vanguard, 2 Marauders, 1 with Cram, and a large Corsair. Hello my intrepid scallywags, and welcome to the final Deepwater Guard style. Do you want to learn how to build the battle barges and mechanical monsters of the Riker style? Well, you're in the right place. I'm Rorsten, Archaeologist Vtuber and avid Deepwater Guard builder, and I'm pleased to say that this is the last of Deepwater Guard style of guides for Neater. It's been quite a road as I've learned how to edit and shoot these videos since January. I want to take the time right now to explain how grateful I am for how many of you come out to watch and support these videos. The amount of likes and subscribers we've gotten for what was only meant to be a resource for a niche community has been astounding and genuinely appreciated. That being said, let's jump straight into the lore. Richard Riker Redbeard, legendary buccaneer and crazed mechanic turned salvage company owner who steals from the poor and sells to the even poorer. Riker deconstructs donated ships and aircraft and sells the scrap to the highest bidder. His services prove most invaluable to a nation and mostly devote of reliable metal supplies. He'll save the prettiest looking bits and pieces for himself, of course, and stitch them together into functional art pieces. Occasionally, tall tales of him having intentionally severed his right forearm to attach a miniature cram cannon will make their way for the Arabic taverns, though these rumors are unconfirmed. Riker's ships are the more brutal and scrappy side of Deepwater Guard. They tend to be more animalistic and stitched together than other Deepwater Guard ships. Their crews are also more likely to board enemy ships and make extensive use of harpoons and other melee weapons. Riker's ships are the most brutal and scrappy side of the Deepwater Guard. I like to split Riker into 3 separate styles myself, though. The first style is the animalistic style. This is the style that Riker is historically the most famous for, with craft such as the Angry Chicken or the Kraken. This isn't to be confused with just making an animal though. It should still have the features of both the animal it's based on and usual Deepwater Guard rules for building craft. This is to say you'll still need to incorporate bridges, guns, superstructures, and all that into your animalistic design. Doing this well makes some really interesting designs shine through, whereas doing it poorly makes the craft feel like a caricature, so be sure to really plan out your build. The next style is the conversion style. This is the style that the Kalmar falls under, where it's a conversion of a different craft with a different intended difficulty to really add new character to an old build. Now, you can't just take any old design and change a few bits. Do your best to make the conversion make sense from a lore perspective, like the old Sky Viper conversion from the Sea Viper. I like to change the role of the craft where possible as well. Using the Kalmar as an example once again, the Moray is a fast-moving target, but a rather weak target, whereas the Kalmar is more of a brawler built wanting to get in close to melee with rams and harpoons. The last style that I would want to break Riker down into is what I call the Frankenstein, or Frankenship style. This is what you think of when you think of Riker style. Many boats mashed together to form a new one. This would be the substyle that the Patchwork belongs to. The important aspect of this style is that while you can use a lot of borrowed parts from the other builds in Deepwater Guard, you also need to remember to include custom parts to make it look cohesive and unique. This is a mistake I see many first-time Riker builders, including myself, make. It is also important, similar to conversion style, that the role of the used parts change as well. So what may be the main gun Marauder could be turned into a turret on a new craft. Spoiler, I've attempted to do this in the past. With the common features out of the way now, let's discuss individual craft. Unfortunately, a lot of Riker style is still under development, and so many of the greatest examples of the various Riker styles are either phased out from the campaign, or have already been covered. That being said, the nice thing about this guide will be that there's going to be a lot more Riker fan builds soon. Using the Patchwork as the example here, you can see all of the individual pieces such as the Sea Viper hull or the Gotha float. However, the central hull is custom built. This is what I mean when I said that you should have your own design within the amalgamated design. In theory, if you want to get super into the weeds about this, I normally recommend a 60-40 split in terms of custom parts to stolen parts in a craft, which I believe the Patchwork does quite nicely. The Patchwork is also probably the ideal starting point for Riker style in general, and other designs of this substyle can still be found in the save folder, such as the Jacob's Palace or the Jacob's Delight. The Flying Squirrel is a great example of the animalistic style for Riker. They are very clearly based off of actual flying squirrels, but do also look like proper planes. Small details like the ears and the nose, while still maintaining its basic plane shaping, is also peak. There's not many other examples of the animalistic style still in the game, with both the Angry Chicken and Snapjaw being removed, and the Kraken being severely outdated. So sadly, this will be the ideal starting point for the substyle. The Kalmar, similar to the last 2 examples, is also one of the last full conversion substyles available in the game, with the Atlas retrofit and the Vanguard retrofit being removed. The Kalmar is such a great example as well, as it takes the Moray hull layout and completely changes its weapons around, which, as mentioned before, also changes the role of the design. If I had one complaint with the Kalmar, it would be that they kept the Spheno black paint, which I think could be stripped to denote being different from Spheno's style. With that being said, however, I have quite a few examples here today of different Riker builds and ideas to discuss, such as a few fan builds that are from my time streaming with chat, and a few of my own unfinished ideas. Hold up a minute. Have you ever wanted to build these unholy creations yourself? Good news, you're in luck. Like and subscribe here, or go follow me on Twitch and join the Discord, and you too could build just as insanely as the rest of us do now. Starting with the smallest of the fan-submitted builds, we have the Torment by Thunder, a fellow kotl help over on the Discord. This is an incredible example of the Frankenstein-style ships, with multiple parts from multiple craft very visible on the ship. Included in this is also a fair bit of custom parts provided by Thunder. My favorite part of this build is the hydrofoil configuration by using the plane wind and engine. This is really an interesting way to adapt the build into a different role, that of a hydrofoil, which Deepwater Guard hasn't done before, and I really approve of this method. The next fan build I want to look over is a potential Kraken replacement by Big Bean. A fellow kotl for the game, he has done an incredible job of really capturing the animalistic style that Riker goes for, combined with a bit of conversion in Frankenstein styles. Blending the styles like this, I feel, really makes the build feel even more Riker style, if that makes sense. And it works really well in terms of the animalistic style itself. The tentacles added to the build are just enough to give the impression of a Kraken, while the majority of the build is still dedicated to looking like a proper ship. The last fan build we'll look at today is the Angry Chicken. This was done by Orange over in my Discord and is incredibly well done. This build is more traditional animalistic style without much of the other styles included like the Kraken, and as you can see, the Angry Chicken has all the characteristics of a chicken, as you would expect, yet still has quite a few aspects such as the bridge and other open areas for crew to be in. This version that I was sent isn't completed yet. I will do a lore short on the final version when it gets completed. So that's all I have for today for the Riker style and Deepwater Guard style in general. We have all the styles covered now, so if you're looking to build any Deepwater Guard designs, now's the time to do so. You can check for my channel to see all the different styles available, and as always, my Discord, my Twitch, and the official FTD Discord is always available to provide help and answer any questions. That being said, it seems to me like the next section we'll be covering will be the Onyx Watch as well, according to a poll I put up on YouTube post a few days ago. And alongside that, I also want to use the comment sections of this video to ask you, the viewer, what else do you want to see on the channel? I have plans to convert a good portion of this channel's content into more historical and or digital archaeology themes, such as playing retro games and seeing if they hold up, or playing historical games and doing a lot of deep dives into the history, just stuff that's really relevant to me being an archaeologist, right? Stuff that interests me. But I would also love to hear any ideas the community might have on this. Now, this doesn't mean I won't be doing any more FTD content. Trust me, I've been playing this game for half my life at this point. I'm not going to stop. But I do want to pivot that more towards just the faction style stuff and the lore stuff, which will be continuing on the same schedule. Anyway, with that little amble out of the way, I think you guys deserve a reward. So I'm going to be putting some of my old Riker designs in a montage now, similar to what I did with Diesel's designs back for the Sveno video. I hope you enjoy.
Stacked like timbers, founded on the rocks, some 100 lives lost, they weren't local sailors, far away from home, lost beneath the foam, they didn't know these waters. January cold, flood the third hold, we watched those foreign soldiers taken by the tide, fraction made it out alive. I know it's hard, but we must be kept apart. Cut off by the tide, the rocks, the reef, the beach, the mines, the sharpest shards. Breach the hull, the lungs, the heart, from the lighthouse on the reach to the bottom of the sea, miles off course. Miles of course. Oh, I saw those timbers piled upon the pier. Somewhere over there, seagulls cried and lingered. More washed upon the sand, I squeezed my father's hand. He said they had it coming. Some people never learn. They got what they deserved. I dreamed of wild adventures. Just Willie and Boyzone, not these bloated bags of bones. I know it's hard, but we must be kept apart. Cut off by the tide, the rocks, the reef, the beach, the mines, the sharpest shards. Reach the hull, the lungs, the heart, from the lighthouse on the reach to the bottom of the sea, miles off course. Miles off course. You can hear them sing Lily Marlene across the sea, while the wireless plays out that exact same song to you and me. And if I was honest with myself, I'd say it was hard to read from the shoreline which fields they had fought on. It wasn't clear to see.